Here we go. It's another live episode of Bass and Beer Radio on Friday night. Tonight we have with us little Bradley Palm and our first place winner in last night's Thursday night threefer.
Congrats, man.
Pretty sweet, man. As by the title, Bradley is 17 years old and gave all of us the smoke last night. So I got to go work on some things. And that brings us to the topic, one of the topic we'll talk about later. But I gotta find some new juice. You got to find some new juice. It ain't been working for me in my particular spot.
Where's your root beer, dude? Okay.
So I just added. So I want to go over the list of topics as we kick it off, as I guess we've been doing.
Bradley gets root beer tonight.
He's still Bass and Beer, but his
root beer.
It's still Bass and Beer, but Bradley gets root beer.
So tonight we're going to go over the tournament recap of last night, talk about some of the history between Rob and little Bradley that we've had now for a number of years. Been on your channel for a couple videos. Cool as hell. I actually want to have a discussion with Brad about college fishing. I did it for 4 years. He's getting ready to go to college here soon, so we'll maybe get into that a little bit. Like Chad already alluded to, finding some newer spots in tournaments. And we'll go into that. That's going to be an interesting hot button topic. And then the last thing I have on here, tournament mentality. I think it's really overlooked. I think it's tremendously overlooked. And we'll get into all that. But I have a lot to say on tournament mentality because I'll be honest with you, I don't really think, and this will go right into the tournament recap, I honestly believe that over 50% of my success in these last number of weeks in these tournaments has it's been mentality, staying in it, knowing and having the composure to stay with a bait that I'm not confident in at the moment because I know I'm going to get a big bite on it, and it's worked.
But it's easy to be more mentally into what you're doing
when you're catching.
Even if you're getting blowups, if you're getting swirls, you're kind of in the right area, and it's more mentally easy to do that. For other people that are going out and barely maybe getting one fish, missing, breaking off like me last night. You want to talk about the tournament mentality of fishing last night? I lost it last night.
I mean, full disclosure, if you want to talk about it, somebody could take away from it tonight. I mean, Why not? Fuck it. I mean, we've all had good days, we've all had bad days.
I mean, I'm definitely willing to talk about it, but what I'm trying to say is the mentality changes. It's easier. Say it's been easier for you to stay locked on where you want to be locked on because confidence and you're getting blow-ups and stuff like that. But where I'm at, I'm not getting anything until the last freaking 15, 20 minutes where I've been fishing recently. And the mentality for the 2.5 hours before that happens is what we're trying to talk about, because it's do I go to the next spot? Am I throwing the wrong thing? What am I doing wrong? Is the guy over there catching them? Everything's going through your mind.
Oh yeah,
you can't say it's not.
I have a hard time with that. Sticking with something that's not working, but knowing it's going to work.
It's been the story of my last 3 tournaments.
And Tony probably can vouch for this too. Even when you got a really good bag and you're we might have a chance, you're still thinking man, someone might have called them even better. You still have that's always in your brain.
There hasn't
That's
been.
what I thought last night.
There hasn't been a tournament yet where we caught the
and you're
fish, and I'm game over.
I'm going back to the boat ramp early. That doesn't happen. Yeah. You're still someone might have called them better. Someone might have always called them better.
Right. No, absolutely.
So you got to keep pushing.
I think the biggest thing with tournament mentality is we've all experienced it. Anything can happen in a short period of time. I've had plenty of days where everything goes wrong. A notable tournament that I can talk about is last year, so 2021, my first tournament on Potomac with the club. Second Potomac tournament of the year. First tournament, I got third, so I was sitting okay in the points, only the first tournament, but either way. Went to the first spot. Broke off 5 fish in the first half hour. Broke off 5 in the first half hour. I broke break twice. I broke 20-pound fluorocarbon 3 times. And 3 of the fish I saw had them buttoned up and it just come off. And you're just sitting there what the hell do you do? I did not have a fish in the live. We weigh in at 3. Didn't have a fish in the live well at 2 o'clock. I went back to the spot. I put my head down and said, I'm going to just fish here. I know there's fish here. They actually pulled off. Tie went out. There was grass outside of it. Put on a confidence bait and just decided whatever happens here happens. I'm just going to sit here and focus on fishing from this tree to this tree in the grass. And I caught 2. Saved my whole season. Not that I did anything in the standings, but that was one less tournament that I blanked just because I've reined it in after I wanted to pull the boat out at 9 o'clock. I really did. Every spot I went to never got a bite. I got 5 bites in the morning and 2 bites at the end of the day. I ended up catching 2.
It's funny that you say that because I do something similar. So like when I'm having a real bad day on the water, like cast and it goes in the tree, backlash, all this stuff, and I tell myself mentally like, no, you got to keep. You can't let this. Don't get too frustrated. You got to keep fishing.
Yep.
And usually that's some of the better days that you have. Actually,
I think it's a skill. It is truly a skill to be able to have break them off, miss them, have short strikes, blow ups that they don't commit to, and be able to come back. And even if you just catch one, like at the end of the day, and we said it on this show plenty of times, you got to get better every time you go. You know what I mean?
or learn something every time you go.
Staying in it is so difficult because when I first got in it, if I didn't have anything if I didn't feel confident that I had a chance to win or do something by noon, I was like destroyed mentally. It took years to develop that skill set of, okay, you just got to head down. Every cast, you really, no matter how many you got in the box, every cast is the cast.
And it makes you a better fisherman for that.
It does.
When it's tough and when it sucks and when you're like ready to go home and you stay and you fish anyways, just makes you better.
Chad says it all the time. Chad, who I fish with, you're Shad. But
Yeah,
Shad.
we don't fish together.
Oh, your new name's
So,
Shad? I like
yes,
it.
right?
Shad. Oh,
So-
I like that.
So Chad says it all the time, and I give him all the credit in the world because he's really good guy to fish with. He's a very incredible fisherman, right? But like, we go out there and even the days we're doing good, I talk out loud. You know what I mean? My mind, I probably have ADD or whatever, undiagnosed.
What's up, Paul?
But
I have it.
I will definitely
Will?
ask him questions. Like last tournament, we had 9.5 pounds. We had our limit by 7 o'clock, and I'm asking, "Should we do this? Should we do this?" And he's like, "Dude," he's like, "We got this weight. Just stop thinking and just throw the frog. Just fish how you know how to fish." And we kept catching fish. Now we didn't call out, but that's the mentality. Is sometimes it's better to just calm down, reset. All right, whatever happened before this, it's already over. Like now we just got to focus on, I got this much time left. Now I just got to fish hard.
We don't mention enough that, first of all, congrats, dude, because you've been in the money like every week. I know you want
Thank
first every week.
I'm
Second's good too.
I'm foaming at the mouth.
Either way,
3
you're
weeks
killing
in a
it.
row now.
But, we don't really mention very much. Chad's killing it too. I mean, we don't mention your co-angler very much, and he's out there smashing them with you.
Yeah.
I will
it's
say
a team effort.
it's last night was a little bit lopsided on his end, but up until then it's been very.
He's been catching them.
It's been even, dude. Like it's cool as hell because
It's a team thing.
And I think the night we got first in Lunker, I ended up with the Lunker, but I think he had the other 2 in the box. So then the last tournament that we got second in last week, I had 2 out of the 3. And I think he had 1.
Right.
And it's just we're right there every time, and it's because I start running 100 miles an hour in my head in between the ears, right?
Mhm.
And then he's like, dude, let's just do what we're doing. Like
balance.
You know how to. He'll tell me, he's like, you know how to catch them. Because no offense to Chad in any way, this pattern that we're on is 100% my pattern.
Right.
Like I figured it out, and he's like, dude, like this is awesome. Now he picked it up immediately, absolutely. But it's like the only time he fishes Joppatown is on my boat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I'm not trying to give myself credit at all, but it's having somebody that can balance you is. Oh,
Hey, my wife said,
damn. So, Paul, we're going to get into that.
Congratulations.
Can you
Thank
put Paul's
Yeah,
comment
yeah,
up
right.
on the screen? Because that, oh man,
Little Bradley said, thank you, Murray. We do appreciate your comments.
so Paul has a good point.
I love that we can do that.
I know it's awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
And we'll get into that. And I have I guess we'll just get into it now.
I mean,
Yeah,
hold
Paul's
on,
on
before we-
Might as well just get into
Before
it.
we go to the
Open that
next
up.
topic, we were talking about mentality. We're going to go to the next topic. I'm going to talk about
Wait a
my
minute.
failure last night.
Wait a minute.
Sure,
Do you want to
full
recap
disclosure.
Bradley's win first? Let's get Bradley's win first, you think? Or you want to save that for the grand finale?
How about we do your mentality, then Bradley's win, and then we'll go.
Then before we get into that, because that's going to go a minute, because that's a lot.
Yes.
Paul just
I
opened
mean,
up
that's
the
the
can.
all right.
Paul did open the can.
Sometimes.
What's up, Paul?
So we're talking about tournament mentality. He's talking about staying positive when your mind's going a million miles an hour. Slow down and just do what you know how to do. Last night, first off, I just gotta say, like, I'm sorry to my co-angler Skylar. Last night, I blew up and I pulled out 45 minutes early last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because I was pissed last night. Got out there, tied on a new frog, one of the toads, and sent that thing to the moon. That thing was gone. Like, you know, a couple casts in, sent that thing to the moon. Re-rig another one. I'm sitting there, get a nice blow up. Miss the blow up. It screws the frog all up. So I re-rig another frog. Then I'm a total idiot and I just fuck rigging the frog up. So shit, like have to rip it off and like put another one on. And then by then I'm like down to like 2 frogs. So Skylar's out there. I think he had a nice frog blow up and it didn't connect. So it was like shit. And then it was like shit. And then I sent my one frog to the moon. So it was like shit. And then we ran back to another spot and proceeded to miss like 2 more times. Pitched up into the weeds with a worm and connected with like a 3 or a 4 pounder. I don't know. It was bigger. It was way bigger than 2. I can tell you that. And I knew it was a good fish. It jumped and it like spit the worm like 10 foot from the boat. So, I mean, I'm just boiling at this point. Turn around, start throwing frog, miss a blow up, connect with another blow up, set the hook on it, snap off one of my brand new frogs that I just got. Just like,
Did you check and see if you had any bananas on the boat before you?
Yeah. Was there a banana on
I
there?
just like, dude, and I just like lost it. I'm done. Like leaving, and I just pulled out. And like in reality, we still had 45 minutes, man. I could have tied on. I think the other agitating thing to me was I was on a good bite. I probably should have called out twice last night and had a decent snakehead. One of the times we got a nice snakehead to the boat was probably 6 or 7 pounds.
I would have won.
And had it in the net, and then it spit the hook and jumped out of the net. And it was just like nothing at all went correct last night.
You have those days, though, you know.
And it was just like, dude, I just lost it because I was like, man, I'm like, if I would have just connected with some of these fish or not broke off or whatever,
You could have had a really good, maybe.
I think I'd have probably been in the top 3 at least,
Oh, wow.
in my opinion. So I just
I mean,
I think big snakehead was 4 pounds last night. I know I had a 4 pound snakehead.
We had one 6 or 7, but we didn't actually.
They didn't pay the $10,
man.
dude.
We were like, I didn't call snakehead. I don't
Is
know.
Tom
Dude,
on
what
here? Hey,
what
Tom, if you're on here, drop a comment. Dude.
What was big snake last? Or
It
what
was
the
like
payout?
Bradley's dad, Tom.
180.
Yeah, like $180 for big snake last
We
night.
had like a 6 or 7. at
Yeah.
least. And
Yeah, you screwed up on that.
Like,
Would you throw it back?
But
We
yeah,
weren't
they
in the pot.
didn't put in on the pot. You had days like that, I'm sure. I know I have.
Oh,
Everything just went
tons.
wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
It comes with it happens.
Yeah.
It does.
I mean, dude, I just had a pure meltdown and was like, I am done. Went back to the ramp and talked to Paul for a while at the ramp, stayed around for the weigh-ins. And yeah, I mean, it's history. I got to get back out and just fish and
Real
hopefully
quick,
not do it again.
because Tom did comment real quick. Dude, you got to pay the extra $10, man. He was like,
I haven't gotten a snakehead pot once this year.
You never know. I mean, like,
I don't even want to catch one.
I don't want to catch them either.
Fuck
but
less
I mean,
about it.
we caught both of ours would have been won it.
Mm-hmm.
You could have the triple crown almost. Well, no, because you didn't have lunker. Well, you did kind of. It was a tie for lunker last night, which is rare, but
Dude,
that's cool. Tie.
Apparently Nate would have had the freaking triple.
That's what he
Yeah,
said.
from
That's what
what he
he
said.
said. Yeah, that's what he said. I know he posted up some pictures from the other day where he had a nice bag. I don't know if where he was at. I didn't pay, I didn't look at the background and study it.
But I guess to sum it up is like, and to your point, like, being honest about, hey, like I definitely wasn't in it mentally. Like it's not two things. One, it's like okay to have those fucking days because we're all gonna have them. But two, it's like if you're able to sit there and be like, you know what, I know that I was just not in it mentally. Your likelihood of avoiding that next time some stupid shit happens is you're much higher. Like if you were able to recognize that, like, okay, this downward spiral is starting. I need to take a minute and maybe sit down, just reset, retie a couple things just to fucking retime and get back out there. You're already in a better state of mind.
That's how, as you guys know, I've been down lately and not fishing as well as I used to and really getting mentally like, and then, I just started in my brain, like, no, that's not going to happen. Like, I'm going to fish harder. I'm going to get my boat running right. You can control certain things. Can't control the fish.
Right.
But there's a lot of things you can control.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like power. I'm so pissed at Power Pro line right now that I'm never using it again. Yeah.
I'm very upset.
Really?
I used to love it.
Why?
It keeps just like when I cast, it keeps like it doesn't backlash, but it just gets like
I got a bad spool.
Yeah, I got like a bad spool or something.
I've had that happen.
And I rigged all my rods up with it. And now, like every single cast, it's like it doesn't backlash. It just stops like middle of the cast.
Oh, that's horrible.
And I gotta pull the line out, and like I'll try to string it back up tight and cast again, and it may or may not do it again.
Okay, so trick, and for everyone listening, I've actually done this with a lot of success, especially on spinning reels when you have a lot of like backlash and line twist. So if you're just trolling, moving between spots, throw your lure out and troll all your line out. Troll all of it out.
I tried that.
And then put your rod tip underwater and crank that motherfucker in as fast as you can. It will take all the line twist out. Like I'm telling you, it will. So
What Bradley's dad said, because I said you got to pay the $10. He's like, cheapness never pays.
He's the one that said no. He's like, I was like, you want to do it? He's like, nah, we're not gonna catch one. And catch a 6 or a 7.
Right.
So one thing I do want to point out, Bradley, you went out, you fished Tuesday.
We fished Tuesday for 3 hours.
But before that, you hadn't even been out for like a
Yeah.
month and a half, or like 2 months or something like that.
It was probably bad in the last time.
So I mean, like we got to talk about. So like you took first place last night. So like, we got to talk about the mentality aspect of you
playing with house money.
Like
Who
you're just
cares?
coming fresh into a tournament.
But I got to say something before we get into that. He's been fishing the gunpowder since he's been like, I don't know, how old were you when you started?
13,
Yeah,
probably
like
4 years.
Yeah, 4 years or so. Every weekend, he's as bad as me on there. Like he knows that river maybe even better than I do, or all of us. Like, he grew up fishing that river basically. So you knew exactly where you were going and what you were going to do.
It was actually my dad's call, to be honest with you. I wanted to go out and fish the grass
Because everybody's.
I guess there's like I knew it was out there, but and then I guess like where we were, it's kind of hard to catch in the summer.
It's not known as a summer spot.
Yeah,
at all.
It can
It's
be.
not known
And I
as
didn't
summer
have much
juice.
confidence, but then we got back there and it was like I don't know what happened, but like something in my mind was like just throw what you know how to throw, and then it ended up working.
Mm-hmm.
Well, me and you fished that in the summer one time on a Thursday
Yes.
nighter, and we caught like one small keeper. Then we went to the grass and caught a
big
good
one,
one.
yeah.
So your brain had to be thinking like, I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
But your dad's a hammer. Like people don't know too.
You stuck to what you were confident in.
Yeah.
You know, you stuck to what you were confident in.
Oh, listen to Pops. Pops wanted to fish it. He was like, we don't fish grass. Like,
Right.
wow.
Pops was confident there.
Well,
His dad's
here's
a
the other
hammer.
thing too. Like, how many people are going back there beating that up now that it's summertime?
It doesn't got much pressure going on.
No.
Good point.
I mean, it makes
There was
sense.
only one other boat back there. It was like we basically had towards that. They weren't near us the entire time. They were at the other end.
Right.
I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, like that spot has, residents no matter what. They're going to be fished there in the summertime. Like, I've caught them in there in the summer now, not nearly like you do in the spring, but there's definitely a big fish or 2 or 3 in there
Apparently so.
for sure.
They're there. They're just harder to target.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
But you guys know that spot. Like I know you and your dad well enough to know that that's one of your favorite spots. You fish that spot a lot.
Like you fish the quarry a lot. We fish there back sometimes, but like it's like we go back there, we don't have confidence. Like,
Dude, I haven't been.
I'm a canal guy.
I haven't been
Yeah.
in a canal in 3 months.
I love the canal.
It sucks. I would if I could catch half the amount of fish that we're catching and catch them in the canals, flipping, pitching, doing, firing, skipping your
What
bait
you
up
wanna
on the wood,
do.
I would
Yeah.
love it. I would love it.
It's part of my downfall. You just like it's part of my downfall.
It looks so good.
And
It
you
does.
just
It looks so good.
and then history of doing it and catching them. And then
That's
it's
your
like,
confidence spot.
Right.
But it's where it's
but
that
if
was
they're not
kind
there,
of
they're
like
not there.
that was kind of like where we were going with. I think this mentality thing is when you're sitting out there and like nothing's happening. Do I move? Am I throwing the wrong bait?
Right.
Is it the wrong color? There's so many different things that you can change when you're out fishing that can make a difference. It's like, what do you start with? Is it area? Is it bait? Is it profile? Is it color?
I would say there's fish pretty much all over right now. In summertime, they're spread out. Apparently, the majority of them are. I don't even want to say it anymore because there's enough boats fishing it. But
We'll get into
they're
that.
still. So do you think? Tell me, I want to ask you this. Do you think that for like say like every one or two, say for every one bass caught on the bank right now, there's probably like 10 more in the grass. 10 to 1. 5 to 1.
If not more.
Yeah, if not
If
more.
not more.
Yeah.
And it just goes back to it's just the nature of a shallow grass filled tidal fishery. Like no matter what. Look at the flats, it's the same way, right? Like could you go up on the flats right now and go beat the banks and catch them? Yeah, sure. Are you gonna catch 23 pounds? Maybe if you're super lucky. I really think that it's just and think about it like this, right? A bass is a bass is a bass. If you go to Smith Mountain Lake right now, if you go to any reservoir right now, you're gonna beat the bank. Summertime, you're out in the middle. It's the same thing here. There's just no deep water. There is deep water, but they're out in the middle in the grass. There's more motion for them. There's more room for the bait, and
full of bait.
And this is Paul. I know Paul's going to say this, but it's a bait thing. Like they're in the grass that has the bait, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Now within the grass, let's say they're in a 100-yard area. If there's a patch of grass that's got milfoil, hydrilla, and eelgrass, they're more likely to be there. So there's always a spot within a spot when it comes to grass. Absolutely, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think general areas of finding that 150 to 50-yard stretch of where the fish are has more to do with grass and has more to do with bait in the grass.
Yeah.
And that has and the
See, but it's the connection between the bait and the grasses. I think what
Right.
does. I don't think it's like one or the other. I think it's
Yes.
the two put together.
and what puts the
Oh, yeah.
bait there.
Because you can
Yeah.
go to several other places that are
And it's
loaded
good
with
coverage.
bait right now, but not get the same bites as if you're with bait and grass right
Dude,
now.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I fished that entire grass flat at this point this year.
Yeah.
I had fished the
Yeah, I saw you.
whole
I saw you yesterday.
grass
You were in some different spots yesterday, farther. in.
Like I've gone and days when I fished the tournament, I've gone way to hell over this side. I've gone way in the middle. I've gone as far in as far out, and I've caught fish everywhere. But the right ones are where my weight ones are. That's really the difference. The right ones are in a small area, or maybe 2 or 3 small areas, but it's a tight area, and that's going to go right into what Paul's saying
Yeah, let's-
about. So I'm going to come out and I'm going to say I have like tournament fishing for me is a fun thing. I can count on 3 fingers the amount of times I've gotten legitimately pissed off at another person on the board. Like that being said, I think there's a courtesy aspect of fishing tournaments when guys are on fish. Now, I'm not saying this on my behalf. I don't really care what you do. If you want to fish next to me, like, am I gonna in my head like that's a little close? Sure. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna outfish you. I think I'm gonna outfish you. Paul's gonna disagree with it, but I think I'm gonna outfish you. That's just my mentality. If somebody's gonna stay on my spot, let them sit there. I feel confident enough in myself to where, all right, we're gonna find out who's gonna catch him today.
Good luck, fucker.
I'm not gonna say anything. Like, yeah, like I'm not gonna say anything. Now here's the other thing, right? Here's the other thing. If you have an early boat number and you have the ability to get on it, get on it. Absolutely get on it. My only issue, and again, it's not a big issue, is if the spot is fishing small, like the spot is fishing small, and these guys get on it and they sit on it, and you're not the first one there, that's where I think there's somewhat of a sportsmanship issue to put it nicely. Again, I have no problem with anybody out there. I'm going to go fish next week and I'm going to enjoy myself just like I have been recently. I don't care if I catch any fish or not. That being said, if I go out there and I don't whack them, what I'm not going to do is start motherfucking everybody there because you guys are blowing my shit up. Like, it ain't like that. Like, it's just not.
I feel like when you're fishing someone's spot, like that's not yours. And you don't have. It's like you're fishing it because you know someone else is catching something there. It's like I do worse.
I mentally can't do that.
Oh, well, you're right.
You're right. Mentally
Like if
do
I
that.
went to like the spot that you were at and fished it, I don't think I would have. I don't think we would have came.
Hard to catch other people's fish.
I caught half the amount of fish last night that I've caught in the last.
Your spot's been hammered. It's been hammered.
Sure.
Everybody knows that. Like the secret's out. Everybody knows where it's at, and then
That's tournament fishing.
right, it is. But I can't bring myself to that. I want to find it myself.
But
you know,
and,
do my own thing.
and back to the mentality part of it too, right? Like there's two things you can do with this. You can either, in my opinion,
No, don't share, Paul.
you can either get mad and you can, decide that, my spot got blown up and everyone's in my shit and this, that, or the other. And there are people that do that.
That don't mean they're gonna fish it like you fish it.
Last night's the proof. Last night's the proof.
Yeah.
Out of how many boats that sat on that grass flat, how many were in the mud? There was 5 boats that started on it, and to my understanding,
2,
maybe.
Maybe. Kevin took first last week and was on the same exact spot.
Kevin's been fishing that spot for years.
Right.
He's done good
Right.
there. in that spot,
Regardless, he took first last week. Tony was second, 200 yards up, and then, but you can see where the pattern changed because Kevin only came back. I think he had 1 fish last night.
Yeah.
Not talking.
Not to talk shit.
We're not
'cause
talking
it's not
shit.
like that, but
Well, it's not like that, but yeah. So it was like it just goes to show how like that shit changes and/or the pressure can like drive those fish somewhere else.
I don't know. Like, in my opinion, I have confidence in where I'm going to fish, and I believe. And again, I don't like bragging about anything, much less fishing, because fishing fucking changes from day to day. I, at this point, believe as long as those fish are still there, I can go to that spot and fish with anybody there and have a good chance of putting more weight in my live well.
Oh yeah,
just because.
You can prove that.
And again, that's not a shot on anybody else. That's not me pounding my chest. That's just the mentality that I have in that spot, because I talked to Chad this whole week. I was like, dude, I'm telling you, we're not going to have this shit to ourselves anymore. Like, the cat's out of the bag on this. Like, the bottom line is we're only fishing this on Thursdays. You can't tell me that guys aren't going out there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and finding that shit, whether it's because they saw us there. And there's probably plenty of guys who maybe haven't seen us there and just pulled up on it. That's how I found it. I pulled up on it and I looked at it. I'm like, oh my God, this looks great. Like, everything I want is here. And that's the tournament we won. So I'm not saying that everyone that's fishing it is fishing it because, oh, well, this is where it's being won.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of like just indifferent on this subject. It's like I understand being.
Maybe so to your point, it's possible. Maybe, just maybe, someone found that spot and was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna hit this up in the tournament," and never even knew that was, one of the spots that's been winning tournaments. Is that the dog? Hey, real quick. Greg had a good question for you, Bradley. Greg said he wanted to hear a little bit on what you were doing last night. You were flipping. Don't give up too much of YouTube, but were you was it grass edges or
it was punching? Grass that was I would say it was like 5 to 8 feet the entire night, and it was like it wasn't loaded up grass. It was kind of like more isolated. And I was just basically dragging out in deeper water. But it was all the bites were close to the boat. It wasn't like it was like I was flipping 15, 20 feet away from the boat, I guess.
Right.
And it was like the bites were coming right next to the boat. I never got a single bite that was
on the bank.
Yeah.
So
I was like
contact.
Yeah.
So you were more dragging it on like, the bottom?
Or you were
picking it up and dropping it back
and then dropping it back down.
Yeah. Creature bait or worm?
Yeah. Creature bait.
Okay, you don't have to say what creature bait. I was curious. Profile.
It was a Guggen, wasn't it?
Was it the Guggen bait?
It was a Guggen bait.
You look like you might be like part of the Guggen.
Oh man, man.
Hey, look. So Bradley and me go back a few years, and he's talked so much trash to me over the years, dude. He's challenged me to so many freaking one-on-one tournaments. So
He said, Paul said, don't tell great shit, Bradley.
Bradley's given me a hard time for years, dude. He's a hammer, and his dad's a hammer, dude.
Yeah.
And we fished the gunpowder together for what, 4 or 5 years now. Yeah.
Did I freaking pass Bradley and his father on the water many times?
Oh yeah.
Many
It's not hard to
times.
find them.
Yeah.
You haven't
Not
been
that
on
freaking
it.
red tracker, you ain't missing it.
Well, there's the other guy with the red
Yeah.
tracker. Yeah, there's the other guy with the Red Ranger.
Yes.
He's always out
Yeah, the
there. I
red
don't know his
aluminum
name.
Ranger.
Attorney?
No,
The other Red Ranger. I
He's,
thought it was black. No,
It's
it is
aluminum-
red.
it's
red. It's like
aluminum.
18,
It's
19
aluminum,
feet.
right?
Yeah.
He's always out there. I don't know his name. I always talk to him, and I'm not sure what his
Talking about the
name
dude with the ponytail?
No,
That's
Yes.
the Black Ranger.
no, he
That
doesn't have
one
a
is black.
ponytail. He has short hair, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I've only
I thought
seen
the
the
dude in
Black
the Black Ranger.
You never
has
saw the
long
guy
hair.
with the red aluminum Ranger boat for real? Because he's like always out there. He's,
Yeah,
he's
no.
out there as much as us. Then there's a guy that lives on Foster Branch that has an older fiberglass boat. He's probably fished it as long as us as well. Like, I'm talking like every weekend.
What kind
for
of boat does
2
he
or
got?
3 years. Oh, I can't
So
remember.
white fiberglass.
Yeah, I can't remember. Dude.
White fiberglass.
But these are like, there was like a 3 or 4 year stretch with like my brother, the dude Dan. Are you on here tonight, Dan? Where's Dan? Bradley and his dad, and a couple other people. We fished every single weekend on the gunpowder for like 3 years straight. Or
We
something.
started locking it in like 2020. Right?
You know
Yeah.
what? You know what we should just do? And again, this is just me talking out loud. It's probably the tequila talking, but why don't everyone that's like loyal as hell to the gunpowder, why don't we just start a freaking club?
I
I pushed him to do it last year.
Bradley's been on my ass about, you don't even know what kind of subject you just opened up because he's been on
I,
my ass.
I talked to my dad
actually
for so
thought-
long about it.
I actually thought that when I haven't heard from you in a while, it's like
Look,
Bradley's mad at me because
look,
I never
I
started.
already
that
got the
club.
name for it, guys. Joppatown Sundays.
Oh, I like Dirty River Kids.
Yeah, Joppatown Sundays.
Dirty River Kids.
That was the name I wanted. No, I got outvoted by Brian Dicey.
Can't
and
imagine
Bradley.
why.
Oh, you don't like Dirty River Kids?
No.
I love
No.
it.
This ain't the back river.
Yeah, Worm Wigglers was one of them.
man.
Detroit Worm Wigglers was one.
Hell no, that's corny.
But no, we did try. So I even talked to Scott, and we were setting it up. And I'll be honest, I kind of slacked on it. It's my fault. Bradley was mad as hell with me that I never followed through on it. But you know, I did put together like group text, and we didn't get a whole lot. Like it wasn't just my fault.
So we'll work on this off the scenes a little bit.
But you're already in there. You're an outcast.
Sorry, I'm other stuff going on. I'm still listening. I hate being on the phone on the podcast.
You don't like Worm Wigglers?
So you got work shit going
That's
on?
too
Yes.
corny.
Yes,
It's like something
unfortunately.
you'd
So I
say
get
on
dirty.
Google.
So I'm skateboarder by nature. Skateboarder for years, and there's a skateboard company.
Skateboarder by nature.
Right. DGK.
When I was
is a
young, I
skateboard
just decided to ride a piece of wood down the street. It was just natural to me.
it was. But
I
Yeah,
learned
the
how to
skate-
make it do 360s under my feet.
there's a skateboard company with a similar name. That's why I came up with Dirty River Kids. It's so
Dirty
cute.
River Kids.
I love it. It's like DRK. It is a dirty river.
Like the freaking what is that dirt bike company? It's like Ghetto Dirt Bike Kids or something.
Well, that's-
DB, like
is that
DGK?
Did you just talk about the 12
That's a
o'clock
skateboarding
boys?
company.
No.
Wait a minute, DGK has a dirt bike company too.
I thought it was like Ghetto Dirt Bike Kids or something.
There's dirty ghetto kids. It's
Hold
a
on.
skateboard company.
Dirty Ghetto Kids.
That's a skateboard company. Steve
Okay.
Williams. Yeah.
right on. Yeah.
DGK all day is their slogan. Yeah.
So I got to shit talk Martin for just a second because he just got it.
Oh, Martin's on. Uh-oh.
So hey, Martin. So we're talking about tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna come out there and I'm gonna catch more fish than you. And if you ain't down with that, I got 2 words for
Oh,
you.
here we go. Oh, you got the. I didn't
You
realize
didn't even
that.
realize I had the shirt on.
Wow.
Come on, man.
Well, where's the wrestling voice? So you got to hit him with the
I
wrestling
totally
voice.
thought you were gonna do a wrestling voice introduction thing.
Like
That's
which
what I
one?
thought was coming.
Like which one?
I
Wait
wouldn't
a
put the
minute.
mic right there if I knew you were gonna hump in the air.
I just watched a thing the other day with Rock and Kevin Hart, and they asked Kevin Hart if he was a wrestler, what be so what would be your like finishing move?
Finishing move?
Yeah, if you was a wrestler, how
Damn,
would you
that's
finish
a
it off?
I'm gonna have to
Martin
get
in
back to you.
Indiana.
Martin, he was. Are you back yet, Martin? Let me know if you are.
X-Pac.
X-Pac. Dude, I watched him wrestle one time in
Triple H.
Joppatown. For real. Maryland Championship, this is totally off topic. Maryland Championship Wrestling had a show at Joppatown like 5 years ago, and I went to it. And X-Pac came out and teabagged like some chick in the face.
Oh, that's right. They did
Dude, it was
stuff like
awesome.
that.
I was like, holy
Poor
crap.
guy, bro.
Like,
Yeah,
no
he's
way.
too young to hear that.
Oh, it was crazy. It was badass.
Kevin Hart was like my finishing move would be like poke them in their forehead. You gotta watch the video though, because it's like,
Dude, we really have to do the Thursday night WWE promos. I'm sorry.
I'll record
Dude,
it.
we
I'll
gotta
edit it up,
record
man.
them.
I
We can
know.
record them and
I'll edit them up.
We have to. Like,
Yeah.
We should do one tonight. I don't give a shit.
Record it.
we can
for me.
record one after this.
We can do it right now, dude.
I mean, I do have
This is this is also recording software on here,
Oh, hell yeah.
so we can absolutely do that.
Well, I say we
You know what? Hey, Martin, can we all like go to MCW together? Like all of us that do Bass and Be Ready. Hey, I don't. You
what's
guys,
MCW?
Maryland Championship Wrestling.
Oh, I'm not a wrestling
Dude,
fan, but I'll go.
It's awesome. It's so much fucking fun. Like it's incredible.
My finishing move would be like hit you in the head with a bottle of tequila.
My finishing move would be just pull out an 8-foot rod and throw a rattle trap.
There you go. There you go. That's good.
I got you.
Rattle
Pete,
trap is
because
your
I'm
face.
bringing like an 8-inch wooden lunker punker in your face.
Smack him with a rattle trap.
Big ass rat.
I think
So-
somebody actually mentioned a rattle trap tonight. I believe it was Paul.
So, Bradley, college fishing. What are your thoughts on that? You're going into your senior in high school. Obviously, you can fish. You proved that last night. What are you thinking about college fishing? And your dad's on, so you captive audience. So the first thing you should say was, well, I really need a 21-foot boat with 12-inch grabs, power poles. If I could have that, then I would be good. But no, for real, like, what are you thinking? Like,
I've thought about it before, but I've like never, I guess, put like actual thought into it. But I feel like I would be like interested in like learning more into it and like how you get into it, I guess.
so
That makes sense.
yeah, absolutely. So I guess the background information to this is, so I that's how I got into this whole thing. Is I started fishing in college, my freshman year of college, and I did it for 4 years. Now I sucked as a fisherman in those 4 years. I was green, didn't really know a whole lot. So my tournament finishes weren't great. I had one top 15 in the FLW tournament. On the upper bank, had 4 fish for like 15 pounds. We were on the right ones, but we just couldn't get the fifth. But anyway, so like from my perspective as somebody who did it, I would say you should absolutely do it. I mean, do you want to play sports in college?
I mean, I play golf, so like maybe, but I guess depending on how good I get, I
Right.
guess you could say. But
So-
Play golf when you get older.
What I would tell you is now, without if you don't want to say the names of the schools, by all means, feel free to not answer. But what are some places that you're looking? Are you like south? Are you looking local? Like what?
I haven't looked a lot, but I don't want to go north. Like
You don't want to go north?
Yeah, I'd rather go south and stay like on the East Coast, basically.
Okay.
Stay south.
So,
on the
like-
East Coast. The fish get bigger down south.
So you're thinking like anywhere from like Maryland to like Carolina, further south, Florida, something like that. Like, so I guess what I would tell
down
you,
in Florida would probably be.
There's a
So-
college fishing team that dominates. I can't remember who it is.
Adrian College. We used to fish together. They're good guys too. I got stories. They're really, really good guys, but they are fucking incredible at fishing. I don't understand it because them guys. I don't care what tournament you're in. Someone's going to qualify from that team no matter what.
You take like fishing classes.
So
No, it's like you have a coach. It's like
so that
after
yes.
school.
So
Yeah,
like
how does
we
it work?
had a coach. Okay, so I'll talk about Adrian first. So Adrian, their college is out of Michigan. They don't have NCAA sports. So all of their money that would go to sports, not that it comes from NCAA, but their alumni raise money for their club sports. Their most popular club sport is their fishing team. That's like their thing. They're known for it. They recruit. Virginia
That's
Tech recruits for it. Virginia Tech has incredibly good college fishing teams. Good friend of mine went to Radford. He fished. So I started the bass fishing team at VMI. And obviously, VMI being a military school is extremely difficult to have the amount of time required to fish tournaments and to fish them effectively. I mean, realistically, you're fishing the FLW tournament on a Friday, you better be practicing by Monday. For real. Like, that's just the way it is because other teams are, and you want to have a good chance and everything. But I will tell you, and this is what really puts a lot of guys out of college fishing, and I didn't realize this when I started, is that in order to fish in college, it's a pay to play game, right? So if you don't have your own boat, like there's only 3 or 4 schools that I know of nationwide that have their own boats. Adrian College gets new Rangers every year.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Jeez.
they're that good. Seriously, they're that good. I don't know if it's a school that pays for it. I don't know if it's a private alumni. I've never seen them guys unless it's a personally owned boat. So basically what they have is they have an established team, and those guys partner up and they get in Brandon Rangers every year and go fish wherever the fuck they want. And they're really good fishermen. They're a really good group of guys. I don't like them the same way I don't like Tom Brady. He's good as shit, and I hate seeing him win every fucking time. However, those guys are really good sportsmen, and I've towed a guy in, and they asked me if I had fish. They were going to tow me in, take my fishing and weigh in for me. I didn't even ask them. They just were riding by and said, "Hey, you good? You want us to do you a favor?" So, but anyway, so basically, at 99% of the schools that you go to,
Bethel too. Yeah.
so Bethel's very good. McKendree, Murray State. Murray State's got a very good team. Clemson has a good team. But basically, unless you go to one of those schools, East Tennessee State University, they get brand new skeeters every year. At least they did when I was fishing in college. You have to have your own boat to play, or you have to be in with somebody who has a boat. So you either need to get picked as a partner, and think about it like this, right? So let's say Towson has a bass team that's got 4 or 5 boats, right? You go to Towson, and there's 4 boats. You could get one. You don't think those 4 boaters already have a partner picked out? Mm-hmm. So you got to beat somebody out. You know what I'm saying? And like you can affiliate with the club. Like in our club was a perfect example. Every boat we had in the club, a college student like me, a dumbass at 18, 19 years old, went out and bought a Ranger like an idiot. Horrible